Sorry, guys. I forgot one of my cables. Huh, interesting. That's a different connection. Huh. Fascinating. Fascinating. No more blue. Was there a question, Blue? I wasn't sure if you had a question or was it a comment. Were you confused? Hey, buddy. Spits Blue true. What's your concern? Dude. Hello. Oh, wow. I can hear myself talk. That's weird. Yeah. Huh, that's weird. I can hear myself talk now. Look at that. Thoughts on Rob Reiner? Wow. I mean, hold on. Wow, that's weird. I can hear myself talking there. I mean, I think there's a thought that there's going to be some kind of a red line that MAGA's going to change, and they're not. Yeah, Barry, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to be I'm just a regular person. Oh, look, I put nails up for this thingy. Look at that. I wanted to set it up here, and I have a homemade Christmas ornament, like Christmas. There we go. Somebody asked about why are you mad? Reg, I'll give you one explanation. And then if you continue, I'm just going to block you from the channel, okay? Because he's a rapist. He's a pedophile. He's a felon. He's a liar. 5 officers died. Now, if those 5 things, if you can't even live in reality, then don't waste my time. Because I'm not going to talk to white supremacists. There is no different point of view. There's right and wrong. Goodbye. 2 + 2 is 4. The world is round. Donald Trump is a rapist. Donald Trump is a felon. That's not an opinion. Donna, they are not worth my time. They're not. I made a video about agreeing to disagree. Okay. I saw this video of 2 white women having a conversation about this. And it went like this. We're in a neutral area in a room with just the 2 of us, and we're talking. Now, the conservative lady, and of course they're both sitting there, in her gold cross and Jesus, God, Jesus, God, Jesus, God, the typical white evangelical. Okay. Now that conservative woman wants to find common ground with the Democrat lady. So the conservative voted to remove the other woman's rights to do what she wants with her body. Women in Texas are detecting fetal abnormalities while they're pregnant. And that conservative woman is forcing women to give birth, and those babies are dying at a 56% increased rate. So they have to create birth certificates, they have to bury them, and they have to mourn the loss of their baby. You got people that are transgender that have served this country honorably for 15 years. Hi, Ozzy. And now they've been kicked out because that conservative woman doesn't like it. That conservative woman voted for a rapist president. And every time there is a victim of an assault in this country, they have to know that that friend, that coworker, the cousin, the brother, the sister voted for that. that survivors have to live with that every single day. And they don't want consequences. Now, how is that other woman supposed to find common ground with somebody that is taking away her basic human rights? That conservative woman doesn't do anything when children are murdered in schools. She does nothing to fight for universal health care. She does nothing to fight for people to have a living wage. She does nothing to help the homeless people. She doesn't do anything. But she wants you and me to live by her moral compass because it's in the name of Jesus. That's called control. Agreeing on pizza. Let's say I like pepperoni and you like black olives. That's a difference of opinion. I like the Niners, you like the Broncos. That's a difference of opinion. I like to go to Hawaii, you like to go to Florida. That's a difference of opinion. Now, if I force you to go to Hawaii, that's control. If I force you to eat pepperoni pizza, if I force you to root for the 49ers, that's no longer a difference of opinion. That's me forcing my belief system on you. And that's why I don't talk to those people. They don't accept that 2 plus 2 is 4. And trust me, I talk to a lot of people on TikTok. Thank you, Ozzy. What we've done, not we. Let me rephrase this. What I see on the left and the right, both sides, is that they argue with people because it makes them money. Joe Rogan, okay? I don't care what his political beliefs are. What I know is this, that Joe Rogan told his audience to vote for an adjudicated rapist man, a convicted felon who told so many lies that this country saw an insurrection in the Capitol and 5 officers died. Joe Rogan told people to vote for this president who can't even keep his wedding vows, who didn't rent to black people. That's who Joe Rogan told young men to vote for. I don't care what his political stance is. That's not moral. It's not right. It's wrong. That's not a difference of opinion. That's a fact. And that's why you can't have conversations with MAGA. They don't believe that 2 plus 2 is 4. And I can go on Tim Pool and left winging and right winging, and I can do all this, and I can argue and debate all I want till I'm blue in the face. But what's the purpose of me spending 20 minutes talking to somebody like that, arguing, convincing him that the world is round when he thinks it's flat, just so I could put a clip up on YouTube and make a couple of bucks? That makes me a hypocrite, and it's not productive. I'm going to talk to the people that actually have a working brain, that believe in reality and want a better country. That's what I'm trying to focus on here. We have a difference in morality, not a difference in values. There's a quote. Hold on. I got 2 clips, but I want to show you this quote really quick. Hold on. Oh no, it was Laura Loomer. Yes. She's the peachy one today. Where is this little peach? Hold on. Was it a Twitter? It was something gross that she said. Oh, I'll tell you what she said. Well, I can't find it. I don't know why it's happening here. Was it Laura Loomer? Hold on, sorry. Thought I had it pulled up. Rob Reiner was a loser. Naturally, his son was also. No, hold on. Let me find it. I know it's here. Hold on. Here it is. Yeah, hold on. Hold on. Rob Reiner. This was the day that he died. Rob Reiner was a loser. Naturally, his son was also a loser, and he got addicted to drugs and allegedly murdered his parents. Looks like Rob should have spent more time parenting and less spreading Russian conspiracy hoaxes about President Trump. I stand with Trump. Now, weren't these the same people that cried like little babies because we didn't give empathy to the racist podcaster, Charlie Kirk? Yeah, the same ones. Same ones. That's them. But somehow that's okay. Somehow abusing women is okay. Somehow January 6th being a felon's okay. But how dare you talk about that? It's a grift. And I put out a video today about the reason that they do this. It's because it invokes an emotional response. Let me play you part of the clip. Hold on. Sorry, I have two other clips, but there was one I forgot to pull up. Hold on. All right, here it is. Hold on one sec. Ah. Oh, shit, I got somebody else. Okay, now I'm gonna this is why these people don't care about facts and reality. Like a 30-second clip. Hold on. I don't know what all this other stuff is here. Ah. Are so gullible and easily manipulated. Watch this clip and then let's talk. Because this news was It's a mega church. This is one of the churches that Macaulay Monroe visited, if I'm not mistaken, and called about the baby formula. That's what they wouldn't give somebody baby formula able to do this. This is why people don't listen to facts and reality, why everything is fake news. This is why. So, and this is predominantly white people, okay? Because the reality is that we're I ran over my cord, sorry. I'm still getting used to having a cord. All right. You got a bunch of white people that show up at church, right? Check. I'm a good Christian. I'm at church. Everybody's smiling. Hold on, let me close this out. Right? Good morning. Happy Merry Christmas. Blah, blah, blah. All the same demographic. Makes you feel good. Grab some hot chocolate. Have a cookie. Have a sugar cookie. Have a piece of cake. Cool, great. Then you sit down and the show begins. Oh, I mean, worship. Wink, wink, right? And you sit down, and then Santa Claus is coming in a sleigh over your head. Jesus is flying in as an angel. You got performers on disco wheels and lasers and lights, and then the music starts and oh, right? And it's like the movie Jaws when you hear da da, right? It creates an emotional trigger inside of white people. And that's what happens. And then when this is over, oh, praise Jesus, hallelujah. Now, if you felt the Spirit of God, say amen, hallelujah, praise God, right? And they're all wired up. They're like fluffers, and they got them all excited, and their blood's going. They're up and down. Now, reach into your wallet and show Jesus how much you really love him. There it is. And that's the play. That wasn't Jesus. That created an emotional response inside of them. Hold on. Hey, Sarge here? No, he's not. Hold on. Let me get rid of this guy really quick. Sorry. I'm going to have to get him on at some point. But that's what this is, right? You create it's a theater. You're right. It's propaganda. And what's happened is for decades, generations, you tell people not to question what they're told. Believe God, believe the Bible, just right. Abortion bad, gay people bad. But if you're a rapist, it's okay. Hey, no one's perfect. And then what happens is when you want to believe it and you want to really dive into your racism, what happens? Right? Oh, God said it. And it's like a get out of jail free card. God said this, God said that. And then you get into this and you take out critical thinking. Whenever you question them about anything in the Bible that they don't know, they automatically get defensive. Example, I was named after Paul. But I can also say, why would God flood the whole earth if he's pro-life? That's a very fair question. But when you ask one of these people at these mega churches, they think that it's blasphemous. How dare you question God? Because they don't view God as a relationship. They view him as a weapon to maintain the white male patriarchy. That's what it's religion. There is a difference between religion and faith. This is religion. I'll put it back on the screen so you guys can see it. This is bullshit. This isn't about Jesus or God or salvation or compassion or helping the poor people. It's a grift. I religiously take a walk every morning. I religiously work out. I religiously go live on YouTube. A religion is something you do. Rosary beads, not in the Bible. Being religious, not in the Bible. Pentecostal, Catholic, Baptist, not in the Bible. We, as people, created religion so we can weaponize it to force people to believe what we want to believe. Well, this church believes that 2 plus 2 is 5. This church believes that 2 plus 2 is 3. That's not how I see it. 2 plus 2 is 4. You're right. It's the grift. It's supposed to be about faith. Faith is something that you live. This is a circus. It's a disgrace. But it's a grift, and it explains why people are indoctrinated and enjoy places like Fox News. Because they want to be entertained. This is their version of Christianity. And going to my thumbnail, they view this country as a Christian nation. When? Ask them when this was a Christian nation. The Middle Passage, slavery, Jim Crow, Black Wall Street, racial profiling, segregation. Black people couldn't even sit in church. The 3/5 clause, the Second Amendment, written so that white slave owners wouldn't let black people free from Virginia, the Wounded Knee, Asian internment camps, because, but this is the problem, right? When you ask these people at these mega churches like this, they think that this is a Christian nation. But you have to understand their definition of Christian nation is this, and it's white, 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 white. The KKK was ran by ministers and sheriffs. The Grand Wizard of the White House is a white supremacist. They think he's a Christian. They think Wormbrain is a Christian. They think Matt Gaetz is a Christian. Then by their measure, hey, Kiwa, how are you? By their version of Christianity, Satan is a Christian too. Because Satan believes in God. Satan quotes the scripture. And yet, he doesn't follow it just like them. So these quote unquote Christians are no different than Satan. Yeah, it is. And there was a video by, and let me preface this by saying I love AOC, okay? I think she's great. I think she's one of the few people that are fighting for us, but on this one thing I disagree with. Oh, not that one. Ah! Oh, really? Oh, that's weird. Hmm. Hold on, let me try it again. It should. Tell me if this is better.
Donald
Better?
Trump and Stephen Miller want you to believe that this is who we
You hear?
are as a country. And we are here to say that it is not. We are a country that has fought and defeated the Confederacy, that has
Okay.
defeated a history of civil rights violations, of secret police, of fascism. We are a country guided by a monument to freedom on the waters of New York City, who shines brightly and welcomes, quote, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free to our shores. So right now, I ask everyone in our country to fight for that idea.
I I I love AOC. She's wrong. I'm sorry. She's wrong. We did not defeat the people in the Civil War. We did not. Oh, my screen is blank now. I believe in my heart that we're here because we didn't give consequences for the lost cause. We should have thrown their ass in prison, let them rot, thrown them in the ocean somewhere. They fought to keep black people as slaves, and we just shook their hands and let them come right back in with zero consequences. And today, right now, if we have history books in 10 years, we're going to go back and say we screwed up on the lost cause because that's what this is. This is the lost cause. It is. For those of you who don't know, when Robert E. Lee got his ass kicked and over 200,000 people died because they fought for slavery, they went back and said, oh no, we didn't lose. It wasn't about slavery. It was about states' rights. So they lied. They made up a story. And they said, oh no, they were patriots. They were fighting for personal freedom. Yeehaw! And they handed everyone a gun and American flags and horses and John Wayne and all the normal nationalist BS. And they lied. And even to this day, they still tell themselves that the Confederacy was about states' rights. And when you read, it was hold on. Oh, wait, no, it was the concession speech. Basically, I'll sum it up. I think it was Mississippi or Tennessee said that we're against abolishing slavery because God made black people to work in the tropical climate. That if you take away slavery, it will be detrimental to the economy of these states. That was why they wanted to have slavery. That is not states' rights. And Texas said something very similar to that. That basically it was God's will that black people serve the white man and that they would assimilate to white culture. And the vice president of the Confederacy said the same thing. But they lied and lied and lied and lied and lied. So there's been generations, yeah, people like Hot Wheels. Thank you, Hollywood. And that's why we're here. It just is. AOC is wrong. She just is. She said we defeated them. We did not. We did not make progress during the civil rights movement. If we did, we would have a black woman president right now. We're here because part of this country didn't want another black person in the White House instead of out in the fields picking their cotton. In the famous quote from LBJ, and I'll paraphrase it in 2025 terms, this country will vote for the most morally bankrupt white man, rapist, pedophile, felon who's literally bankrupting the entire country and burning it to the ground over the most qualified black woman. This country would rather suffer under a white man than thrive under a black woman. That is why we're here, period. End of story. Robert E. Lee's a piece of shit, and I have comfort in knowing he's rotting in hell right now next to Jeffrey Epstein. And one day, Stephen Miller will be right next to him. You're right. We gave the Confederacy a free pass. We just let them back in. And we're going to look back in our history books and say, why in the hell did we do this? Why did we just let them back in? Because MAGA is the modern day Confederacy. Their grand wizard said, take off your white hood. Don't hide, little Timmy. Be a proud white supremacist. I'll pardon you if you're white. And put on your red hats. And that's where we are. Yeah, Stephen Miller is a Nazi. Let's just be real. He's just a horrible human being. Somebody asked me a question about something, and I don't, hold on. Go Knicks. No. Why do I say that Democrats and Republicans are two sides of the same coin? I'll tell you. They are. Morally? No. Politically, Democrats suck ass. Let's just look at this year, what the Democrats have done. And let's throw in the little nugget that when they had the supermajority under Obama, and I love Obama, he's my favorite president, but I'm going to criticize every politician because I'm not in a cult. He ran on codifying Roe versus Wade. That was his platform. And once he got in the office, it wasn't politically a priority. If they would have codified it, the Republicans would have overturned it. That's on the Democrats. They own part of that. So let's look at this year for Democrats, what they've done. Because people keep simping for them, and I'm kind of tired of it. First, they all voted for Marco Rubio. All 50. How's that working out? 10 voted for the CR. Again, Democrats voted for the CR and let the Republicans get off the hook again. Then you had 14 Democratic senators push through the crypto bill. You had twice now the opportunity to put up articles of impeachment. And the first time, 134 Democrats voted no. Why? Last week, they put up a bill. Another 24 Democrats voted against it. When Al Green stood up and had the balls to say something, 10 Democrats voted to censure him. Why? Cory Booker gave a 26-hour speech. Then he votes for Charles Kushner, a convicted felon, who literally threatened the life of people if they testified against him. Great job, Booker. Great job. Way to go. You're really fighting there. How many Democrats have spoken out against AIPAC? Almost none, because they're taking money just like the Republicans. Right? So tell me what exactly the Democrats have done to fight this year other than roll over and lick their own butts. All right, see you later, Edwin. Hold on, Tia. Don't spam the chat, please. Okay, it's a little much. But and then the thing that really gets me is look at the racist podcaster Day of Remembrance. Right, the podcaster that talked about the great white replacement theory. That said the blacks aren't qualified if they're pilots. How do I know? That said Harris was Black Hillary. Hakeem Jeffries voted yes on that. Eric Swalwell didn't even vote. Tell me exactly how the Democrats are fighting for us, because I'm still failing to realize. And I can play you my clip of Swalwell, and I'm going to keep referring to it. He said in my interview that the Democrats should have raised minimum wage, stacked the Supreme Court, and reversed Citizens United. And they didn't. Why? Because they wanted to be more moderate. Because they don't have the balls to fight. They don't. Look at the race in Texas. Do I think that James Tallarico's a good guy? Yeah. I don't want a good guy in there. I want that gangster Jasmine Crockett to burn the damn thing to the ground. I want somebody to fight for you and to fight for me. I'm tired of this lukewarm, wet noodle, whatever the hell this Chuck Schumer, Timu Obama, Hakeem Jeffries is. I'm tired of it. And I believe that most people on here are. Neither party is fighting for us right now. Look at the race in Maine. Who is Chuck Schumer endorsing? 77-year-old Janet Mills. I got no problem with her policy. None. Do you really want another 83-year-old? Because that's what she's going to be when her term is over. Do we really want another 83-year-old person? And aren't we tired of that? Because I am. You have Graham Planter, who's promised to take no money from corporations and from APAC. And he said, you know what? I'm tired of the Democratic establishment. Joe Biden was part of it too. Harris took millions. Schiff took millions. I can criticize both sides. Janet Mills should not be running at 77. I'm sick of these old people holding on to power. It's about the establishment not wanting to let go. One more example. When did Hakeem Jeffries endorse Zohran Mamdani, the largest city in this country? When did he endorse him? 2 weeks before, half-assed it. Even after the Democrats, as a majority, had a really good night, and Hakeem Jeffries took a victory lap, even though he didn't do shit about it, he didn't even mention Zohran Mamdani, did he? Nope, left it out. Because he doesn't want to be part of that. He wants to maintain the establishment that we're all sick and tired of. I am. I'm sick and tired of it. And when you have conversations with people that are, I don't even know, I guess I call them blue MAGA. They keep saying, now's not the time, now's not the time. We don't have a choice. They're the lesser of two evils. Here's the problem with that. How many decades have we had that conversation? Is it 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36? We keep saying, now's not the time to do it again and again and again and again and again, because they actually don't want to change. They want to stay in an abusive relationship. And we really are. We are in a two-party system that is a abusive relationship. The lesser of two evils is not true democracy. Elon Musk gave $300 million to a presidential candidate. Then he tried to buy Senate seats, and then he tried to buy a Supreme Court justice seat in Pennsylvania. Because in 2010, the Supreme Court upheld Citizens United, where a rich person could donate as much money as they want as long as they do it through a corporation. So basically, Elon Musk, through Tesla or one of his companies, can operate and have the same rights as you and me when donating to political campaigns. How is that fair? It's not. We can't raise $300 million. So his power has more influence than you and I. That's not true democracy. It's not. There was a, where is it? I did a thumbnail, and I'm still doing some of the AI stuff, but I'm trying to get to some more simple ones too, because people have been asking. But I did one about, hold on, I'll find it. It's about a month ago. Hold on. Where is it? Doop-a-dee-boop-a-dee-boop. Somewhere. It was a shopping cart with Elon Musk. Maybe I don't have it. Hold on. I'll find it. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Here it is. Ah, hold on. I have some ads. Hold on, right here. Like right there, right? That's what Citizens United is. Like, do I want to buy the White House, a Congress seat, a Senate seat, a state seat? That's what Citizens United is. They're buying. We don't live in a. We think that we live in a democracy because we go to the voting booth, but we should have 3 or 4 parties. And the 2-party system has said you have to vote for one of us. You don't have a choice. And what I loved about the Mamdani election is that my opinion, you can disagree. Ranked voting is good too. I agree, Warden, is people were excited to vote for somebody. They gave the Democratic establishment the F finger and said, screw off, we don't want you. They were excited about a candidate. And that's what was different about that race. They weren't voting for the lesser of two evils. They were voting for somebody that they actually believed in. And that was nice to see. That's what elections should be about. What are your thoughts on the 14-year-old kid running for governor? What? Is he? I'm not aware of that. Is he allowed to? At 14? I don't. Look at that. Huh. I have to look into that. He should not. He needs to worry about going to school, doing his homework, and kissing his first girl or first boy, whatever he wants to do. Yeah, I made a video about Zoran Mamdani. But 14? No, that's too young. He hasn't lived young. He can't even drive a car. I mean, I like what he's doing. No, an independent has never won. He would be better than Trump. My cat that licks his ass would be better than Trump. Ross Perot got 22% of the vote. I believe it was 22% of the vote, if I'm not mistaken. Exit polls reveal that 35% of voters would have voted for him if they thought they could win. I think he got 22% of the vote. I have to look it up. Yeah, but I mean, look at those numbers. That's pretty damn good. That's really damn good for an independent. He was the first person I ever voted for. No, the 14-year-old, and I have to read it. This is the first I've heard about him. It says he started his own party, but he's not going to run. He's not ready. He is not emotionally ready for that. He's 14 years old. He needs to go to school, worry about getting his driver's license. The man can't even vote. How could you run over a state if you can't even vote? Yes, my cat that licks his own ass would be better than him. But I did have a video I wanted to show you because it goes to my topic today. Hold on. I do want to say one more thing about AOC. Hey, I love AOC, okay? Don't get me wrong. Here's the thing. We have to stop saying that that's not who we are, because it is. This is who we are as a country. We keep saying this isn't who we are. And not her, but primarily people in my demographic, white people, keep saying, that's not who we are. That's not who we are. Yes, it is. It's who we've always been. We just keep refusing to admit that this is a white supremacist country. And now we're seeing it. All the bad shit that's been behind the scenes, that people that aren't white have been treated like crap. Now we not only are seeing it, we're starting to experience the ugliness of it. It's always been here. We just choose to put our heads up our asses. And that's why I call out the No Kings protests, because it's bullshit. It's a white participation trophy. You don't protest every 4 months and go, yay, look at me, woohoo. It is. They're not willing to talk to their friends. They're not willing to post on social media. They're not willing to go on a general strike. They didn't even stop spending on Black Friday. They're not willing to be uncomfortable. And that's the old quote, right? First they came for the socialists, but I wasn't a socialist, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the Jews, but I wasn't Jewish, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for me, and nobody was left. Yeah, I didn't agree with Harris on everything. I don't need to agree with people. You know, it's interesting when it comes to politics. Every 4 years, I hear the same thing from Republicans, which is absolutely crap. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Well, let's dissect that for a second before I get to this clip. Let's say that I am better. Let's say that my life is better, and I live in a court. And let's say that every other neighbor isn't doing well. They're out of work, they're on unemployment, they can't pay their bills. But hey, I'm doing great. Am I better off? And I'm going to vote for a Republican because I have more money in my bank. Doesn't that make me a selfish prick? Oh, I'm not selfish. I'm a patriot. Personal freedom, liberty, all the normal nationalistic BS. That's what you get. And this is just from people that say they're Christians. You're supposed to build your wealth in heaven, where moth and rust. You're supposed to give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and love thy neighbor. And every election, they vote for money. Not morality, not decency, not kindness. Money, 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 money. They literally preach the Bible, and they're basically whores to capitalism. They are. How is that Christian? You think Jesus would vote for women's health care, for minimum wage, for school shootings, or no tax on tips? I mean, I don't care who you worship. Worship a grasshopper. Doesn't matter to me. But the person that I serve, he would be helping people, not just voting for himself. In the last election, as an example, I voted for Harris, obviously, because I don't drink from the toilet. But as a small business owner, my taxes were going to go up. But Paul, don't you want more money? Isn't there more to life than money? If I'm going to say love my neighbor as myself, then who did I vote for? I voted for you. I voted for women to have the right to choose what they do with their bodies. I voted for immigration reform. I voted for universal health care. I voted to raise minimum wage. And I paid for my own college. My degree, I don't even know if you can see it. It's right up there on the wall. Right there. And that's Captain America. But you know what? Not everybody has the privilege of me being able to afford to get a degree. Now, I spent 6 years going to a 2-year school to get my AA because I had kids in a full-time job. But you know what? I busted my ass and I paid for it. But I also realized not everybody has that luxury. So I voted to help get people out of student debt so they have an opportunity just like I did. I voted for everybody else knowing that my taxes would probably go up because I loved my neighbor as myself. That's why these people are just cosplay Christians. They're Pharisees. They only care about something that affects them. And that's what you're seeing now. Oh, I'm losing my farm. Oh, no, I can't sell beef because it's coming from Argentina. Oh, no, I can't sell wool because it all went to Brazil. Well, racism is expensive. It is. Good. And I believe that God sent Trump here to expose the moral rot within his church. He's a black light on this country. Donald Trump is not the problem with this country. He's a symptom of the white supremacy. That's why he sent him here. It's interesting that the most, and I'm just going to use this as a metaphor, the most Christ-like people, moral people, kind, compassionate people, empathetic people don't even believe in God. And the most judgmental, bigoted, racist pieces of crap wear gold crosses and Bibles. It's ironic, isn't it? Because morality doesn't come from a book, it comes from each individual person. Being a good person doesn't come from a book or from prayer or sitting in a church. I rarely go to church. Church doesn't make you a good person. You do, and how you treat people. And if you only voted for yourself and your own bank account, then you're a selfish prick. Take off your gold cross and shove it up your ass. That's how I believe. That's why I do what I do, because it's crap. They're cosplay Christians for 1 hour on Sunday. So I want to play this clip because this is really going to play. It's like a minute or two, but this goes back to I'm talking about this lady did this thing with her husband. Oh, hold on. Oh. This was a clip from TikTok that I found a couple months ago, and I wanted to play it. So basically, a TikTok creator is interviewing her parents and asking her about why people are freaking out about a white majority. Again, no sound? I don't know why it's not playing. Well, sorry. All right. Well, I'm probably having some technical. I'm still getting used to this whole streaming thing. But basically, the gist of it is this. They're acknowledging that there is a demographic shift. And this is really what this is about. In 2030, I think it is. I might have the year wrong. Is that the white people in this country are no longer going to be the majority. And they're scared to death that their privilege is going away. Basically, that's what this is. When they see Zoran Mamdani, they're scared to death. When they saw Vice President Harris, a black woman, it scared them to death. When they see Ilhan Omar, it scares them to death. Look at the people that they treat the nastiest. Anybody that's not a straight white evangelical, they demonize, they crap on. Pete Buttigieg, oh no, right? Hypocrisy. Oh, you can be a rapist and a pedophile, that's okay, but it's against the will of God to be gay. Let me quote you Leviticus. And then if you quote them scripture about how you're not supposed to cheat on your wife with a porn star, hey, nobody's perfect. Don't we deserve a second chance? Who am I to judge? Pat McAfee, Dana White, they're all part of it. They're insecure beta alpha males with small schlongs that feel insecure with women in places of power. Dana White hit his wife. Real manly Dana White. That's the only time that we know about it. Growing up in my childhood, like you guys know, that's not the first time that likely ever happened. That's the first time he got caught. Triple H. I don't know about Triple H. But it's this, when you look at the people, the Joe Rogans, these bros on the right, the people that went to the debates with the racist podcaster, they're all, not all, Theo Vaughn, predominantly insecure young white men that are scared to death that their caucasity is not keeping them at the head of the table. So they go, ooh, if he's a black pilot, is he qualified? How about if he's a white pilot, is he qualified? If he's a white man, is he qualified to be president? You never hear them ask that. Well, that's not racist. Yeah, it is. It's racist. It absolutely is. Candace Owens is a whole different creature. She's a troll. I have to research Woodrow Wilson, but that's what this is about, my friends. It just is. They're scared to death that they're going to see. I mean, think about this. And I thought about this the other day. Let's say hypothetically that I run for president. Let's just play this out, okay? And then my entire cabinet is black or Hispanic. How many people on the right do you think would make videos saying, oh, this is a DEI cabinet? But yet, when the cabinet's all white, you don't question how qualified they are. You got Pete Hegseth that cheats on his wife. You got Matt Gaetz that was selected. You got Wormbrains that cheated on his wife and she unalived herself. You got white Christian nationalism in here. You don't question them. But if my cabinet was all black, they would lose their shit. Oh, wow, this is racist. Why? Because they're qualified? It's because when you look at the history of this country, look at Married with Children, I don't know, Silver Spoons, Leave It to Beaver, I Love Lucy, Lassie. What do they all have in common? Predominantly white families, white families, white families. There's the Cosby Show. There's a couple of abnormalities, but as a rule of thumb, that's all we know. And then you look at the movies, and what do you see? They put black people in a bad light. They put gold chains and rap music, and they're always causing crimes. They do this on purpose. DEI and CRT is just racist dog whistles. It's diversity, equity, inclusion. That's all it is. It means that everybody should be treated equally. Because if we didn't have some of those policies in place, white people would still have every goddamn job in this country. That's why they don't like it. Because they saw black people getting jobs that they thought they deserved, and now they're pissed off. So they're like, whoa, DEI, CRT, and CRT is critical race theory. And it's not taught in K through 12, it's taught in colleges. But his base is so stupid that they don't know that because it scares them. It causes an emotional reaction, makes them angry. Yeah, it's triggering. That's all it is. They're trying to get the black people in this country to go on the streets so they can find a reason to say, oh, look at the bad people. How many times do they talk about the Black Lives Matter rallies? Day after day after day after day. 93% of them were peaceful. But they want to blame Black Lives Matter. They never talk about George Floyd, how he was murdered by a white man. In fact, you have Ben Shapiro, who wants to talk about him being pardoned. Because God forbid we hold the white man accountable wearing a badge. The whores. Do you hear him talking about a Ahmaud Arbery that was chased out by 3 white guys? Oh, no. No, not at all. Absolutely not. Because it's race baiting. That's why he says they're eating the dogs and the cats. They're from shithole countries. He is a white supremacist. He's a grand wizard. With the white majority going away, Donald Trump, the orange pig, is their Hail Mary. They're afraid if they don't hold on to the white power that it's going to go away. And it scares the shit out of them. And they're going to burn the country to the ground. They would rather burn it to the ground than thrive under a black woman. That's just a fact, my friends. It's a fact. Why are some... Well, I don't know if 50 Cent is MAGA. Kanye West is just a Nazi. Let's be real. Yeah, I say Trayvon Martin's name all the time. Somebody asked about why are some rappers MAGA like 50 Cent. I don't know if 50 Cent is. I could only give you my opinion, and you're ready to disagree. The Blaga is what is the name that I've heard. I believe that they're grifters. I believe that they believe that being close to whiteness is going to somehow let them in the membership club. That they're going to show up on the plantation and be let in there, and he's going to tell them to go to work. You can sleep outside on the ground. Latinos for Trump. He deported them. They turned on him. The Somalians for Trump in Minnesota. Awful quiet now. How about the Palestinians for Trump because you couldn't vote for the black woman because of Gaza? Vote for anybody but her. Awful quiet now, aren't you? Have you seen Trump's cabinet? 50 Shades of White. Hey, Byron Donalds. Where are you at? Hey, thanks for your vote. Donald Trump says thank you. It is. I'm telling you. And some of those grifters This is, again, this is only my opinion. Tim Scott, the same thing. This is my opinion. I believe that people like Tim Scott and Byron Donalds do this because they want white people to think that if they agree with a black person, that makes them not racist. That's what I believe. I really do. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. It's like saying, oh, I have a black friend, I can't be racist. Really? Really? I have a job, so I can't be I can't be a robber? Like, that's stupid. It's a grift. It's all for money. I had a couple in California. There's not a whole lot of MAGA, at least in my area. And every single, and I didn't see a lot of them. I saw a handful of them during the election. They had these pop-up stands on corners where they saw MAGA gear. All of them, without exception, were black people running them. And I believe it's because they think that, oh, look, I'm not a racist. There's a black person selling MAGA gear. They probably don't even care about politics. They just want to make money off of you. It's capitalism, my friends. It just is. It's straight up capitalism. They're grifters. They're opportunists. That's what Candace Owens does. She goes on there just like the evangelical church that we talked about in the beginning. They find an emotional button and they push on it and they push on it and they push on it, and they cause a visceral reaction like transgenders or tampons in bathrooms, and you scare them with some boogeyman. Oh, it's CRT, it's DEI. Are black people qualified? I'm not saying they aren't. I'm just asking the question. Oh, it's the immigrants. Yeah, the immigrants are causing housing prices to go up. That's how stupid they are. And again, it goes back to racism, right? So these people went to the voting booth and said, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because the immigrants are destroying this country. I just want them here legally. I'm not racist, but at the same time, you voted for a white supremacist and a felon and a rapist. Somehow that was perfectly fine, but I'm not racist. They were told that brown people are taking away their way of life. And when you go to the Midwest, like my family's from, that's what you see. White communities everywhere. And when they see someone that's not a white straight person, it scares them. Mountain, I don't consider myself religious. I think there is a difference between religion and faith. And I believe the more that I go on this journey that Christianity is a religion, not faith. Based on what I'm seeing from people, including my former pastor, who I'm disappointed in. The Bible never says to be religious, says as the faith. I happen to believe in God, and if you don't care. Live your life the way you're happy. Faith is a way you live. It's how you treat people. Like, I believe that doing what I'm doing is what loving thy neighbor is. It's fighting for people that don't look like me, that are treated different. Speaking out against white Christian nationalism. That, in my opinion, is loving my neighbor. That is my talent that I happen to have. Money is the root of all evil. You're not wrong. It's a grift. And the sad reality is we have a lot of stupid people. Look at Texas. When Ted Cruz was up for re-election, while the state had power outages because they're not connected to the grid because they're so stupid, 22 people lost their lives from freezing to death. They were burning their furniture, burning their chairs in their fireplaces just so they wouldn't die. And Ted Cruz said, see ya, suckers. I'm going to Mexico because I'm rich with my family. And they voted for his dumbass again. They're stupid. They don't care if their life is better. They wanted the racist white man. I mean, he literally left them while they were dying, freezing to death like popsicles, found outside of 7-Elevens. And he's like, screw you guys. I'm going away. But somehow the immigrants are the problem. Texas isn't too bright. They're just not. Not all of them. But it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that they voted for that dumbass. Because he hates the same people they do. Yeah, Ted Cruz is a joke. Hey, you want to see something? I got to go in a second. You want me to show you something? So, I don't know if I guys told you guys this. I lost like 134 pounds. I'm up a couple pounds, but nothing crazy. But I had this artist. His name is Johnny Desjardins. He did this for me when I lost my weight. I wanted to put it here. Maybe not. Well, see that? Pretty cool, huh? I don't know if I could take it down. Well, can I? I put it up. Hold on. Now I want it. Now I feel challenged. Here it is. Look, there it is. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Yeah, so he's kind of like been through weather. He's been beaten up, scratched, torn, broken shield. Yeah, this was incredible. This was kind of like the gift I got when I lost all my weight. So now it used to be behind my desk. Now it's here, so you find people can see it. So yeah, and Nancy, I don't understand. Like Texas, just so you people know, Texas is not on the grid. So when their power goes out, most states that have working brain cells can pull power from other states to supplement when they're down. Texas still hasn't done it, but they keep voting for Hot Wheels. Yeah, I don't care. You're Hot Wheels. You voted for a rapist, Abbott. Shut up. Shove me your thoughts and prayers and shove me your moral righteousness. I don't care. Like, they're not on the power grid. They're not making their life better because they're not interested in making their lives better. They're voting against the Democrats. They're voting against the other people. They're not even voting for themselves. That's the thing people fail to realize. There's single issue voters that part of it's racism, and it's the babies, even though they have a 56% increased mortality rate. Because they don't care. They're not interested in making their life better. They want yours to be worse so they feel bad about their crappy life. Sadly. Yep. All right, my friends. I got to go to the gym. It was a pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Tomorrow. Oh, you want to see a preview of tomorrow? Every Wednesday, I'm trying to do something good. Hold on. Where is it? Aha. Okay, you're not ready for this tomorrow. You ready? Hold on. Okay, now before I show this, how many people have read the book Goodnight Moon to their kids? Anybody? Look at that. Tomorrow. That's my morning video. It's so funny. Oh, yeah, you're going to like it. Every Wednesday. So I put out my long form video like on the mornings at 7 a.m. So tomorrow, 7 a.m. I know it's early, but you know what? Everybody posts at 3 p.m. I don't care. So yeah, story time in my stitch. Every Wednesday I do a good story. So tomorrow it's Goodnight Trump. All right, friends. Bye-bye.